Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brother's Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with Katie Smooth at One Brother's Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Katie Smooth coming back at you with another broadcast. Coming to you today, family, with a broadcast that is extremely difficult for me to do. It was a broadcast that I've been kind of planning to do, but not wanting to do. But I'm going to do it anyway because it's long overdue and it's desperately needed. And if I don't see nobody else doing it, so I'm going to do it myself. Today's broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be on this story here about this video that has surfaced, this body cam footage that has surfaced regarding this mentally disabled man. Yeah, family. Wow. It's real hard for me, family, because I am a parent of a mentally disabled person. Okay? And that's why it's very hard for me to do this video. Okay, family? But we're going to get into it. We're going to cover this. And yeah. Wow. Okay. As many of you have seen, there is a video or body cam footage that is circulating here the last day or two of this young man that's mentally disabled that was ultimately chased, tased, excuse me, and significantly injured. Family. Wow. Significantly injured. Family. I'm sorry, y'all. This was very, very hard for me to do. But I'm gonna push through this. I'm not even gonna get into all of the details in regards to this story, mainly because I can't. I'd ask you to research this story on your own to get more information yourself. This occurred in Michigan City, Indiana, where these cops chased, tased, and brutalized this young man because, according to their story, he matched a description. Okay? In Michigan City, Indiana. And it left this man, thank God he's alive, but it left him significantly injured. Wow. And he had done absolutely nothing wrong. He just fit the description, matched the description. Okay? And here in, excuse me, family, in just a moment, I'm going to share with you, family, a video clip, some of the body cam footage. Wow. And we're going to chop it up regarding this story. Yeah. So here we're going to go ahead and share with you guys this video clip in just a moment. All right. Let's see here. Just a moment. There we go. Okay, now we're going to view this clip.
City 25 Tommy in this corner store, please. Hello, everybody. You need to hurry because came from back there. That's remember he's the one that we saw walking. Gun. Get on your face, bro. It's back here. I got you. Where was that at? It was under his hands. He was trying to ditch it. How in the fuck? There's one on the pipe, too.
Okay, family. That's the body cam footage of this police situation. But again, many of you are watching that and you're going to say, well, he had a gun. Last I checked, for those who are saying that, it's not illegal to carry a firearm if you have a license to carry it. It's not a crime. Okay? He did not pull his weapon, point it at any officers in any way. He didn't threaten them in any way. He was just minding his own business. And according to the police, he fit a description. He fit a description. That was his crime. There are no charges as of the latest report that I've reviewed. He just fit a description. That's his only charge. Okay? There may be more that comes out about this story, but as of time of recording this broadcast. They released the body cam, but no other information as far as charges or what crime, if any, that this man had committed, because he had committed none, or at least none that has been reported at this time. Okay? So, with the full expectation that that's going to hold true, because if he had committed some sort of crime, trust me, they would have already released that information. Okay? They would have released that information before they released the body cam footage, because they know how it looks. And trust, and let me say this, fam, there's some other video clips that actually show, I assume the family took some video clips and have released them of his injuries. I'm not going to show those, family. Y'all saw blood on the ground. His face was so severely damaged, family. I can't put it into words. I'm not showing those. You want to see the results of his injuries, please go look up those video clips that provide that information. I'm not showing those here. I can't. Again, in his own community, walking, had committed no crime, stopped because he fit the description. Okay? Now let me say this up front, family. If this were my son, like I said, I have a disabled son. My son is autistic. If this were my son, I would not be here at this moment recording this video. I would be in jail or dead. Period. I need y'all to hear me. I've done other reports on issues similar where, you know, of what's going on, what's happening to us as a Black community family. I need y'all to understand something for those that still have not, where it's not fully registered yet. We are being hunted. Say it again, family. We are being hunted. Black community is being hunted, as we always have been. The only difference is that a small percentage of these hunts are being captured on video. Just a fraction of them are being captured. Okay? Be clear. Most white cops naturally and are trained to attack and shoot us first, then ask questions. Either they have that natural disposition due to their racism and white supremacy views, or they're trained that way. Okay? When they see a Black person, they see a threat they see danger, they see a criminal, automatically, they do not see a human being. I mean, y'all seen it if y'all been paying any attention. How much more evidence do you need? How much more? How many more murders? How many more attacks do y'all need to see? Those of you that are still in denial. Okay? And right quick to any white listeners, my white listeners, hear me when I say this. Your kids and family are not being murdered in America on a daily basis without justice or threat of consequences. It's not your family. It's not your friends. It's not your relatives. It's ours. Yeah, there's crimes that happen to white people too. True. But not these murders, these attacks by the police. There's countless of videos of white criminals cussing the police out, physically attacking the police officers, doing all kind of stuff. And the police don't shoot and murder them. They still just get arrested at the worst. Plenty of those videos. There's videos of some white people, some white guys, criminals, literally pointing their guns and knives and stuff at police officers. And still, a majority of the time, those criminals, those people end up in handcuffs rather than being dead. So miss me with all y'all BS. Okay? Miss me on that. You don't like it? Find another channel. Okay? You weren't asked to come. You know, this is a door that swings both ways. All right? Now, again, for those that you just saw the body cam footage, and that's the only footage I showed you. And for many of y'all, as soon as the cop said gun, y'all went, oh, he guilty. That's how satanic and brainwashed many of you are. Again, it is not a crime to carry a firearm. It's not illegal. Okay? Let's be clear of that. If that's what went through your mind, you have the problem. And let's say it even turns out, let's just hypothetically say it turns out he does not have a license to carry, right? Okay. Because there are many people who do carry firearms that don't have license to carry. But does that automatically make them a criminal? I say no. Because there's many people, especially those of us in the black community who live in communities that are full of criminals, attackers. They're our next door neighbors. We get threatened and harassed by them dang near on a daily basis. Our kids going to and from school in our normal movements, especially if we're on foot. So many people, many black people after experiencing these dangers, instead of waiting until they get a license to carry, they get something for self-defense while they're going through that process. I know here in my state, in Indiana, they just passed a law where they got rid of the requirement to get a license to carry. I actually support that. Because just having a firearm doesn't make you a criminal. It's what you do with it and how you use it that could make you a criminal. Okay? Again, it doesn't matter if he did anything or not. In the eyes of cops, he fit the description. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, we are being hunted, family. And for the black community, for the black family, it's no different than exactly what was happening for us during slavery. I need more of black people to wake up and acknowledge this and respond. Make changes in your life. Make changes and adjustments to how you move. If you were living during the time of slavery, would you be just walking around freely outside? You know, let's exclude the whole issue of having a mental disability. Would you just be walking around, carrying on, skipping along, okie dokie, as a black person during slavery, on the plantation or off? No. So you can't do that today. Never been able to really do it, but in context, I'm talking about this story today. There was just a story also in the last day or two that came out. A 13-year-old child going to get inside of a car to ride with his school tutor to go get his tutoring was attacked by cops and arrested, put in cuffs. A 13-year-old black child had done nothing wrong. The cops seen him take off his book bag, put it in the car where his tutor was also, and then go to sit in the car, and that was enough for the cop to attack and assume he was doing something criminal. A 13-year-old child, and guess what they said? He fit the description of somebody they were looking for. I can go on and on and on. I've done reports on these. I actually, even though there's more of these reports that are needed, I try to not do so many, because I'm not built like that, y'all. I'm not built to sit around and talk about it. I'm not built to point fingers and complain. I'm built to respond. Which is why, another reason why doing this video is extremely hard for me. Okay? And so let's focus in on the issue of this man being mentally disabled. Okay? Mentally disabled people, kids, teens, and adults, especially black kids, teens, and adults that are mentally disabled, many of them are being terrorized out in public on a daily basis, whether it be riding buses, just walking like this man was, playing outdoors, even in their own front yard. They're being terrorized without our adult or parental supervision. It's got to stop, y'all. Okay? And trying to come up with the jacked up ideas of wearing some sort of special wristband or t-shirt or hat, to let police know, let these demons know that they're dealing with someone with a mental disability. That doesn't work, y'all, because that's literally making them a target. It's putting a target on them. It's telling demons, criminals, police, demons, whoever, that they're an easy target. So you can't do that. Okay? And be clear, most police here in America, they are white supremacist terrorists when it comes to the black community. Okay? And the rest are trained to attack and shoot us first. Right off the top, no questions, just boom. Okay? They are not capable, trained, or compassionate enough to recognize when they're dealing with a person with mental disabilities or in mental distress. They're just not. And I know some of y'all are thinking right off, then, we got to put together some sort of, public response teams for people in mental distress or with mental disabilities and send those teams out to respond to situations as opposed to the cops. I'm all for that, but that's easier said than done. I'm a proponent of that. Yes. But that's going to take actual people actually giving a damn and doing a lot of work to go over all the details to make it actually be a successful option. Okay? Yes, it needs to be done. It's long overdue. But until then, most cops are not capable, trained, or compassionate enough to recognize a person with mental disabilities or that's in mental distress. So what's happening? They're showing up, attacking, and in many cases, just immediately murdering our kids, our teenagers, our family, without consequences. They get a paid vacation. Talking about it's being investigated. Their investigations is only for the purpose to come up and create a reason to not charge the officers. That's what their investigations are for. Okay? So, again, we are being hunted, family. I need y'all. Family, I need y'all to make some adjustments. Make some changes in what you're doing. I mean, we can't safely walk the streets in our neighborhoods because we live in terrorist zones, if you didn't know. We can't do that, and we don't have a mental disability. So, I'm sorry, y'all. This is, again, this is real hard for me to even talk about, even though this is my life every day. Avoiding these types of outcomes when it comes to my son. Okay? So, again, here at One Brothas Mind family, we try to focus on solutions. And that's what I want to turn to at this time is, what are some solutions that will help us prevent these types of satanic things from continuing to happen, or from prevent them from happening to our kids, our teens, our adults who have mental disabilities. One option is, family, you have to provide all transportation. If you have a mentally disabled child, teen, or adult, you have to provide all transportation. You cannot depend on somebody else, especially in a crowd or group fashion, like a city bus system or school bus system. You can't rely on those things, because there is no one there on a daily basis that's going to ensure the safety of our kids, our teens, our adults that are vulnerable. Okay? 2, you have to institute a rule, if you haven't already, to only hand off your family member with mental disabilities to legally responsible persons and our entities. Okay? For example, if you're providing your child's transportation to his or her school, you walk them to the actual door where the teacher is and say, here is my child. Most schools have a particular drop-off location for the special needs students. So, those that staff at the school is on a particular alert and have certain protocols to follow to maintain safe transport for your special needs child into the school till they get to their classrooms, etc. That's just one example. If it's a work or an activity situation, follow the same protocols. Make sure you hand them off only to legally responsible persons or entities. Hand to hand. Don't drop them off, say, all right, go run on inside. No. Okay? Also, family, other solution options. If to do the issue of providing all transportation, if that's difficult for you to do because of your work schedule, then guess what? Adjust your damn work schedule. Adjust your damn work schedule. You adjust it. And in the worst case scenario, family, if there is no other options, you've exhausted all other options, you may have to stop working. I did. So I'm not giving you these solutions and talking about them just, pointing a finger. I'm giving you this information because I live it every day and have for the last 17 years. "13 of which I raised and protected my son as a single parent, full time." So I'm not talking about something that I don't know. Single mothers, I'm a single black mothers especially. Talking to you here. And I know many of you may say, well, I got a little system set up with my child, and it works. We haven't had any incidents or any problems or whatever. Yeah, it's cool. It works until it doesn't. All it takes is one time for it not to work. And your child, your teen, your adult could be gone. I'm sure that's what the parent or guardian of this young man was saying before this happened. Again, I can't even, these stories, family, I can't even read the details. I can't do it. That's just me. I can't. I see the headline, and pretty much every time there's a headline, it doesn't matter. The other details doesn't really matter. Because this person didn't do anything. This mentally disabled person didn't do anything most of the time. And yes, there are a lot of mentally disabled people out in the streets that for some ungodly reason don't have loving family members or guardians or parents or whatever, and they just are out there, and mental disabilities can make you actually do things that are criminal. There's people that have been tricked into doing things, told to do things, and then their specific disability causes them to do criminal acts. That's a real thing. Okay? But the vast majority of mentally disabled people, their disability doesn't cause them to do criminal acts. They don't bother nobody. They don't harm anyone. Their sole focus and attention is just doing what they're doing. If they're walking like this man was, he has a routine. He's walking to and from whatever he's going and coming from. That's his focus. He doesn't bother anybody, most likely doesn't talk to anyone. And with there being them finding a gun, as you saw in this video, clearly all that says is he knows, and whatever family or people, guardianship that's with him, they know this walk that he's making is not safe. So this was his attempt to get a little bitty gun to try to at least have something. So if he gets threatened, he could attempt to defend himself. But again, I argue, family, to the parents and guardians, I'm not blaming you or saying you're responsible for what these officers did. But at the same time, we can't put our vulnerable in these positions for this stuff to happen. It's not safe for them. It ain't safe for us. So it damn sure ain't safe for them. Okay? Especially black single mothers or single mothers in general, but I'm focusing in on the black community, y'all, because that's my community. That's who I see day after day after day being attacked, shot, murdered by cops. Okay? And I'm not going to go into a whole long story on this, just to give you a couple little details for the single mothers that are listening. Again, I'm not talking about something that I don't know. I'm talking about what I have lived. Okay? Just to give y'all a brief example of a little piece of my personal story. There came a time, like I said, my son is autistic. There came a time when my son reached the age of 14 where he got an opportunity to attend regular school, so-called, in the special education department. Prior to that, he had attended full-time therapy his whole life. Okay? The plan was, at that time, was for him to attend regular school in the special education department for half a day, and then for the second half a day, he would continue his therapy at his therapy provider's location. Okay? Every day. Half a day at school, half a day in therapy. Right? His therapy provider's location was actually also located within the same school district that he was going to attend. So you should think that shouldn't be a problem, right? That was a major problem. Okay? And at least, let's say this, I didn't think it was going to be a problem because with my son having attended full-time therapy for over 10 years, I had saw plenty of school buses and school systems provide school bus transportation to and from the therapy provider, the same provider that my son was getting therapy from. I saw it for years. I wasn't even a thought of mine. But when I went to enroll and start my son's school enrollment, his school refused to provide that transportation. And long story short, I fought their decision for a year, for an entire year, up until the point to where I ended up getting written confirmation from a representative from my state's Department of Education that confirmed that, according to my state's laws, that type of transportation was up to the school district's discretion. So some districts did it, some did not. That's basically what it came down to, and that was the law. So once I got that, I couldn't fight the school anymore on that, right? So school bus transportation was no longer an option. So I had to look into other options. So I immediately looked into my medical insurance. And in case y'all don't know, for those that don't know, medical insurance covered medical transportation, it works, but they have some restrictions or limitations. And the one that made things not work for me and my son was the passenger is required to be at least 16 years or older, or if below 16 years old, has to be accompanied by an adult to receive medical transportation. So I couldn't get my son's transportation from my insurance. So that wasn't an option. So I had to continue to dig and look into other options. I called every medical transportation service within the city. They all had the exact same rule. Whether it was insurance coverage or I paid out of pocket, it didn't matter. Okay? So at that point, after fighting for a whole year and wasting 1 year of regular school option for my son and a focus on academics, I refused to miss more time, So I went ahead and enrolled him, and initially I just provided his transportation. Okay? I just provided it myself and made up in my mind that I was going to, I assumed I was going to come up with a solution. Okay? I just, I'm gonna find an option here. I'm gonna, work this out. Because I'm not gonna give up on this. Okay? So I kept working and asking and researching and all that. And there was no other solution that I could find for transportation. I did not have any options as far as family and friends transportation options for help with this, as most of you don't. I already know that. Okay? Just like y'all. So, cause they got jobs that they working and going to every day themselves. Okay? So that wasn't an option. And the other parent, the non-custodial parent, was not an option either. Just like most of you. Okay? Single moms. So y'all can't say I don't know. All right? So it ultimately came down to I had to make a decision. Either I had to remove my son from school, from his first opportunity at school, and some focus on some academics for him, or I had to stop working and provide his transportation myself. And there was a small window of, I initially thought, well, even if I stop working and go through that whole nightmare, I may be able to get, say, Medicaid or something like that to provide his transportation. But ultimately, it was either he gets to go to school and I stop working, or he doesn't get to go to school and I continue to work, pay my bills, same thing y'all thinking about. Okay? I decided to stop working. Because for me, my son getting an opportunity at education during this time of development was more important. So yeah, I left my profession. I left my career. I made that decision, the one that you've been afraid to make. Okay? And yes, it was an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare as far as surviving it and making it work. But I'm here to say, my son has not missed one day of school. Yah has taken care of me, taken care of us enough. My son has not missed one day of school. Yeah, that whole walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I walked through it, y'all, over this issue in regards to this solution. But what I want y'all to focus on is the words, I walked through it. That means I came out on the other side. I've come out on the other side. Again, it was the valley of the shadow of death for quite some time. Actually, for a few years. But our children are worth it. Okay? Yes, I had to not working. I had to secure some form of income. I had to relocate. Yeah, I did it all. I was on assistance for a short period of time. All of that. I had to do it all. So I am not telling y'all or talking about these things, single moms, not knowing. I've done it already. And if I did it, you can do it. Isn't our kids, our teens, our adults, our family members that we are caring for, aren't they worth it? Aren't they worth the protection? Aren't they worth your protection? Okay? So after I stopped working, like I said, and I discovered Medicaid only, they had the same rules. You had to be 16 and or have a chaperone with you. So that wasn't an option. So yeah, I had to go through that whole thing. All right. Now, as a part of solutions, there, like I said, family, if you are going to go ahead and make that decision, if you're going to bite that bullet because you don't want this stuff to happen to your child, your teen, your adult out here in these streets, you want to avoid this nightmare. Them being murdered by the police or attacked by the police or anyone else for that matter. There are, in most cities, a lot of options, additional options. There's assistance programs, obviously. But even beyond that, there's additional assistance programs that provide transportation options. You got to make a lot of phone calls, ask a lot of questions in your city. Most states have a state disability waiver program that literally provides funding, extra funding that helps pay for, needs that disabled people have. This young man should not have been walking in his neighborhood. If he was on the state waiver program, that would have provided, if they have one in his state, that would have provided for transportation from wherever, to and from wherever he needed to go. Okay? It would have provided that. And this would have not happened. So you got to do your due diligence. You got to scratch the walls, look under the rock, shake all the trees. There's stuff available. Avoid this level of risk at all costs. Parents of mentally disabled kids, teens, and adults. Avoid this. It can be done. There may be a cost. And trust me, like I said, I know the cost. I know, some of the, do I know. But, again, aren't they worth our protection? The way I tell most people is God actually chose or selected me for the special appointment of being not only my son's parent, the blessing of that, but being my son's protector. I look at it as an early heavenly appointment, or it's my heavenly internship here on earth. And Yah selected me for that, not just to test me, but because he knew that I could do it, that I was capable. And I'm honored that Yah selected me for this responsibility. So, to stop working, while it was one of the more difficult things that I've had to do in my life, it's nothing to me. Nothing. Okay, family? Also, as a sub part of the solutions here, like I said, there's all kind of transportation options. Just real quick, I'm gonna go right back over solution options. Number one, provide all transportation, 100% yourself. That's the first option. 2, only hand off your mentally disabled family member to legally responsible persons and our entities. Okay? 3, you need to adjust your work schedule, switch to a different shift, or adjust your work hours. Also, for those that don't know, FMLA is a national law. You can, if you work in your job, you've been on there for the right amount of term, you can apply for FMLA through your child or a family member's doctor and get approved for FMLA. In my case, previously, before the job that I actually stopped working, previously I had FMLA on with my previous employer, and there was never any problem. All I had to do was just tell my boss, gotta go today, I gotta go do this. Okay, that's all he could say. And all of my bosses, they were great. They never bothered me one bit about it. Okay, but I did not take advantage of that. I busted my butt to keep my time away from my job to the bare minimum. If I needed, oftentimes I would need to leave like a half hour or so earlier before completing my 8-hour shift, so I could actually travel and pick up and transport my son. Or, the same thing in reverse in the mornings. I would be a half hour or so late every day because I was transporting my son myself. But because I was on FMLA, that was not a problem. Never threatened my job. Okay? So definitely seek FMLA out. If you've been on, I know in my state, the rule at least was you had to have been employed with your company for at least 90 days before you could apply. As long as that was the case, apply for it. Get it. Especially, just an extra little nugget, little pro tip. Don't just request FMLA, because you ain't working at all. Okay? Request intermittent FMLA. Explain to your child's doctor or family member's doctor that you need to be able to transport them to and from their medical appointments or treatments or school or whatever. And it's going to cause you to be 30 minutes or so late for work every day, or vice versa on leaving. You'll need to leave work early each day or on certain days. Just get it to say intermittent. They don't have to identify the specific days or anything like that. Just intermittent, because they know that schedule is subject to change. And you have to have the flexibility to change it quickly. Okay? Intermittent FMLA. That's what worked for me for over 10 years. Okay, just in my situation, I actually had moved to a new job, a new opportunity, and at the same time when my son got this school opportunity, it's just like kind of like the perfect storm, and I had not been at that job for the required amount of time to apply for FMLA, so I was stuck, and I refused to pull my son out of school or stop his school once I had already started it. It's not happening. So, and just as a complete side note, that whole option, as much of a nightmare as it was, it actually was a blessing in disguise for a bunch of other reasons, y'all. I'm not gonna go into, like, for example, just one quick example, what we've all been dealing with here over the last 2.5 years. We call it the predator here at One Brothas Mind. We don't use that C word because you know how it is in these YouTube streets. We call it the predator. I didn't have to deal with that. So blessings. It's not all a nightmare. There can be blessings that come out of it. Single moms. So just wanted to go over those options again. Medical insurance or Medicaid transportation requirements, at least in my state, are 16 years or older, or requires a chaperone. Your city also may have special transport options available with the city bus system, different things like that. Because I know in my city, they have city buses that are specifically for disabled riders. Okay? They're a little shorter buses, but they are city buses. They got all kind of stuff. You just got to make a bunch of phone calls, do a lot of research, shake all the trees, and look up under all the rocks. This could have been avoided, is my point. And in the worst case scenario, just like the option that I chose, I felt I had to, because I'm not going to have my son out here walking the streets and, oh my God, no. Because like I said, go rewind and listen to what I said, my first couple statements of this video. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. So, definitely find options and solutions. You're not alone, single mothers, in this battle. There's many of us. I'm a single father. There's many of us out here having to fight and figure out and navigate this insanity. You're not alone. Make some phone calls. Ask some questions. Call some city people. Talk to your school, education. Talk to your therapy providers. There's a lot of information that you may not have that would be helpful, that would eliminate the situation of your disabled child being in a public situation or walking the streets without supervision. Okay? Without transportation to and from where they need to go. Okay? I can't stress that enough. And lastly, I have to say this, family. Black family, we have to return to creating our own safety and our own justice. I'm going to say that again. We have to return to creating our own safety and our own justice. for those of you that are old enough, and if you're young and you're not old enough to know this, check with your uncles and your aunts and your parents from like the 60s going backwards in history. They were at least afraid to attack us. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm saying they were afraid to. Okay? Because often when they attacked us during the 60s and going back further in history, mysterious karma would mysteriously occur to them. So because of that, family, listen to me. Rewind what I just said if you need to and listen to it again. Because of that mysterious karma mysteriously occurring, they were at least afraid of attacking us. They're not afraid of attacking us today. That's why y'all see all the videos that y'all see, all the stories that y'all see, which again are only a fraction of what's actually happening. Okay, family? So on that note, let's chop it up on this story and tell me what y'all think in the comments. Wow. We this gotta stop, y'all. Also, just another quick note, single moms, especially a lot of y'all with disabled sons, teens, as they get older, a lot of y'all may be feeling y'all can't handle them or whatever. Reach out for help. Reach out. There's city and state program options. Reach out to, if you're a member of your church, reach out to your church for some help. Reach out for help. But the last thing, it's my contention, it's not even an option. Never, ever call the police on your child, your mentally disabled child or family member. Because all that's going to happen, they're going to show up, and within seconds, they're going to attack them or shoot and murder them. That is our reality. Again, y'all, I know I normally go into more details on my broadcast, but I just can't on this story. I just got to speak and address this from a general standpoint. I have to address it from a general standpoint. It's early. There may be more information that comes out, but I don't believe there will be any incriminating evidence, because if it was, they would have released that, as I said, before they released the body cam footage. Okay? Well, we'll see. But again, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let's chop it up on this. If you have some additional solutions, suggestions, and ideas, leave them in the comments. That's what we're here for. We want to try to help each other, help inform each other, help encourage ourselves, family, help us figure out safer ways to navigate these killing fields out here, this land of white supremacy. Okay? And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory, and being on code is required. So never fear. Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.